So here in Jersey, one of the reasons we're having a problem with the decrim is because Senator Sweeney and Governor Murphy are beefing hard. Well, it's not. I mean, what's beef? Beef is when your people ain't safe in the streets. Okay, this is not beef. They're just, this is more like a cat fight, all right? between establishments. Murphy has been doing investigations, as have Sweeney, and it's just been back and forth, a whole lot of muddy waters. And Senator Sweeney has taken to NJ.com, so the same as Senator Rice has, to air it out. So let's get into it. Sweeney, Governor Murphy supported the union's fringe groups. The legislature works for everyone. This is gonna be fun. Steve Sweeney, NJEA. Last election cycle, spent a record amount of money trying to knock Steve Sweeney off, and it didn't work. And so, it's just nothing but contempt and vengeance upon this man's mind. During the closing days of the state's budget battle, the governor asked, "Whose side are you on?" He did not ask this question in front of the general public, but time and time again, he asked it in front of the state public union leaders and others who represent the fringes of New Jersey. Unlike the administration, the legislature chose to forge a path of unity over division. For decades, while Washington has become more divided, the legislature forged ahead in an effort to work together with people from all walks of life. While the administration may approach the state budget as a way to settle political scores, our legislature uses it to lay out specific priorities. That is why, for the second year in a row, the New Jersey legislature voted on a budget that was not an ideological manifesto, but a practical document that reflects the varied needs and priorities of the more than 9 million residents. As state legislature, I'm sorry, I rarely do this in a video, but I got to figure. Sip of coffee. All right. As state legislatures, I said it again. As state legislators, we are proud to represent all of the people. Do you though? Okay. I think this is the first time I'm going to pause in this one. Do you, Senator Sweeney? I mean, let's be real. Because of the 9 million people, though, the unions and their forces, they are here as well. They are residents, and they are the establishment that, you once relied upon to get to where you're at. And now that you guys are, having the issues that you're having, yet they don't have the numbers that they need to truly knock you off, then we're at a impasse. You're at an impasse, not me. I have absolutely nothing to do with it, but you guys are at an impasse right now, and Governor Murphy has taken advantage of that by trying to push for them, because in the grander scheme, right, when it comes to the federal establishment, they feel as if the unions and everything else like that, they can garner enough support to do as they please, but the numbers aren't that strong anymore because of the nonsense that goes on within these unions. I mean, the NJEA, the amount of scandals, and particularly when it comes, I mean, who have you guys been hiring for teachers? Because almost every week in Jersey, there's some teacher, usually rather attractive, definitely in the 35%, that is getting caught up in some in some scandal. There's videos of NJEA officials saying some horrendous things. So nobody's hands are clean and tritting. We have nobody to root for out there. Most members of the legislature have spent their lives representing the people of this state as elected officials, but more importantly, as leaders within their communities. Are you sure? You know what? Sure. Because, like I said in a previous video, the establishment has endless tentacles. So, and most people really don't pay that much attention to politics. So come vote time, it's more of a, hey, who you like? Who you rolling with? Bet. Okay. Instead of, hey, what policy is this person thinking about? How is this person going to make our communities better on more than just a superficial, guns and trash type deal? Because it's so damn generic at this point. that people want more, and when they don't get more, and most times they're stalled out and forced to move. That's why there is an exodus of people, of actual Jerseyans leaving New Jersey, because they've just been priced the hell out of it. But because it's the establishment, they're so, insulated that they really don't see it. We have heard from our neighbors about high property taxes, how poverty has risen, how commutes to work have been miserable, how college is unaffordable. Yet, it's not that you do nothing, it's just that everything you do is for show. So, when the administration cut funding to vulnerable communities in Governor Murphy's first budget, the legislature restored funding to programs that lift the poor out of poverty, protected kids and families, and increased aid to underfunded school districts. But did it work? Because Akbar Cook is become a mini celebrity because of the poverty that you have that's run rampant in Newark. Do you realize how destitute a community has to be when the schools within it has to have a laundromat? And props to the young man. This is not a knock, but the deal is that it shouldn't be necessary in the first place. But because the urban communities have been poisoned with this culture that is that rewards the terrible behavior and the bad choices, particularly for the young ladies, then boom, that's how you end up with the poverty rate being what it is. In the underfunded schools and all this, and all the muckaramo, whatever that this state finds itself in. This year, when the administration failed to present a budget that met the state's minimum wage obligations to those serving the elderly and the disabled, the legislature increased its funding. While the administration resorted to rhetoric on New Jersey transit difficulties, the legislature stepped up with the considerable more funding for New Jersey's commuters. This year, the state Senate and the Assembly gave the administration a budget of $1.4 billion surplus, $249.5 million more than Governor Murphy originally proposed in February, with no new taxes. We funded virtually all of the administration's priorities and filled in the gaps where the administration's budget fell short, but most importantly, protected the priorities of the people, all of the people. Here's the deal, though, sir. Imagine if you actually really did spending cuts, because if you did, trust me, you could hop in way more and actually put it towards the pension situation, and we can fix all of this. But nah, they're all trying to increase their paychecks. Would you like to know why? Because the state's getting more ridiculously expensive. We tripled the increase in New Jersey Transit's general fund operating budget from $25 million to $75 million because we knew it made no sense to continue to underfund an agency struggling to improve its on-time performance after years of neglect under the previous governor. With your help, you've been here the entire time, Sweeney. That's a part of the problem. You've been here this entire time. And all of a sudden, he pop up with a couple of investigations. Now, oh man, I'm going to sit here on a soapbox. Nah, pimpin'. You too. We added $50 million more for extraordinary special education aid for our most vulnerable students, those whose education costs were more than $40,000 a year, as part of a 4-year phase-in to full funding of programs that should be a state responsibility and not fall on the backs of local property taxpayers. We added $65 million for salary increases for our hardworking service. We added $65 million for salary increases for our hardworking direct service providers, the low-paid workers who take care of the developmentally disabled and mentally ill, who provide childcare and take care of the elderly, keeping their pay above the new $10 minimum wage that began this month and the $11 minimum wage that will start in January. We gave the county college presidents. Okay, hold on. Before I what's the name that? So I really wanted because when they say they added $65 million for salary increases, so you're basically telling me that the lowest paid workers went from $9 to 11, and now they'll go from 11 to 12 or 13 when the wage kicks in. And how is that $65 million worth? I'm pretty sure that money went. I'm pretty sure a lot of that cash is going towards salaried workers and not per hour workers. And that's the difference right there. Like, that's where I feel like the rub is. We gave the county college presidents what they wanted by increasing funding and raising eligibility for county college opportunity grants from $45,000 to $65,000, and we put an additional $24 million into our 4-year state colleges, including $7.5 million more for Montclair State University, $4.6 million additional for Stockton State, whose enrollments have been soaring without any increase in state aid. We raised the income eligibility level for senior citizens to enroll in the Senior Freeze program. So this is all about the money that they're spending and how, honestly, this is the way he's painting it. Let's see. Okay. So let's get to... Okay, we help uplift the poor. We increased workforce grants by 20%. We added $14 million to provide up to 6 months of postpartum care for mothers. We restored state funding for a Heat and Eat program that will help tens of thousands of families and could draw down as much as $117 million in additional federal funding. Could. I mean... We'll see. That's the thing. I'm not privy to the budget, so I like, as far as I'm concerned, I just spoke a whole bunch of Chinese, but it's what's the, you know, the shell game where you got the three card Monty, where you got the 3 cards and you switch them around, and whichever one's the king is the one that somebody has to pick the one. That's kind of what our budget is. It's just a game of 3 card Monty. Our fiscal crisis is far from over. 3 years from now, New Jersey will be facing a $3 billion to $4 billion budget deficit unless we act quickly to reduce costs by enacting policies to protect the public employee pension system and reduce the growing cost of healthcare premiums, impacting both taxpayer and public employees. More information on how the legislature is working to make New Jersey blah blah blah. These measures will not only help us balance the state budget, but also save billions of dollars in property taxes. Until significant reforms are adopted, the state will continue to struggle to meet the diverse needs of our 9 million residents, including the most vulnerable. We know whose sides we are on. Yours. No, sir, you're on yours and the people within your bubble. You know, like, you don't give half a damn about anybody that works at Walmart or works in the service industries whose, you know, automation is on its way. You don't really care about the people that are struggling at that $10, at that $11 per hour, which is, let's be real, not real money by any stretch of the imagination. And we've already discussed when it comes to, you know, the amount, we're a sanctuary state now. So the way, I'll be very interested in seeing how the wage growth within the state, you know, because I believe the country is doing well, but the country as a whole, one of the things that kind of irritates me when they go into Donald Trump numbers about this is that, hey, you do realize there's like 2 more levels of government that are underneath you. So federally, yeah, you'd be looking fantastic, but people will be sitting around like, oh my goodness, well, I'm not feeling it. I'm not making but so much more or anything else like that. But the deal is that you also have your governors, you also have your mayors, you have your councils, you have so many different people that that are accountable to you before you even begin to look at a president. Okay, so Sweeney, brother, you have been here this entire time. You have watched. You were there for Christie. You sat there, pat Christie on the back. You sat there, pat everybody on the back. And now it's like, oh yeah, we've been working for you. We've been working for the regular old Joe. No, you haven't. You've been working for yourselves. That has been more than evident via just how everything's played out. So guys, with that being said, all the internet stuff. If you liked it, like it. Dislike it, go ahead. Sub. If you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want videos every single day about important stuff like this, non-important stuff, when I see it, I want to talk about it. Share, because sharing is caring, and YouTube's not going to do that. And, you know, I could appreciate the message getting out there a little bit more. And speak. Let me know what do you think in the comments. I know this one ran a tad bit long, but this is the state Senate president pleading his case, and I am the official elected official, so I have to retort and put this out here for Jersey and my people. So until the next one.